Thank you for joining us today. We got Lonnie, correct? I got it right, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lonnie of Dark City Comics with us today. We're gonna talk about him as a not only as a creator, but the projects he got going on. And let me tell you, he sent me his Kickstarter for Epic #1. This shit is fire. It caught my I'm not gonna lie.
Appreciate it.
That photo right there, and you sent me the sample that you're putting out. It looks
Yeah,
fire. I ain't read it yet. It looks fire. You know what I'm saying?
appreciate it.
I
Appreciate
definitely
it, man.
can't wait to dig into that. Um,
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm just pulling that up real quick. Just give me 1 second here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Uh, I've been in comics off and on maybe about 10, 15 years.
Hmm.
Prior to that, music. I write, uh, written for a movie that was out, couple, couple web series, stuff like that. But the movie actually was in theaters,
Okay.
called The Unhitched King. So you can check that out. I think it's probably on Amazon and Tubi and all that stuff right there. But we had a limited release, so that was pretty dope. But I've been writing. I was signed to a Warner subsidiary when I was younger, doing music. Used to do rap. Um, got into film and video with my business partner, and just always trying to create something. Man, I always got had a creative thing, and I used to love comics when I was young, and I went through like a spell where I really wasn't motivated to do music. I really wasn't motivated to be bothered with nobody, honestly. And that comic bug bit me, man. I fell right back in love with it, and I kind of
I
been
feel
doing
you.
it ever since.
I feel you. I was the same way. I was I was doing music in my early 20s. Once I hit 30, I was like, you know what? I need I need to expand my creativity. And then that comic bug hit me too, and I'm like, you know what I mean? It's been a minute since I dug back into comics. Let me get back into it, and then here we go.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny how your roots. You always go back into your roots. Like if you're going through like a creative spell or something,
Mhm.
it'd be something that pulls you right back. I was walking by drawing the comics, and shout out to them in downtown Glendale, in Arizona, and they were just having like a sidewalk convention, just like a
Yeah.
small mini thing
Okay.
specifically to the store. And me and my lady at the time was walking by, and I walked in there, and it was just like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh my God, I'm back. You know what I'm saying? So it's just how it be.
That's what's up. Yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, so when did you realize, you know what, I love comics. I like reading them. I want to make them.
You know what? This is probably hmm, maybe 2010, 2011. We came off a bad deal with Warner Brothers, me and my crew, and we kind of split up. And I was just sick of the whole music thing, but I still felt that niche to create. And then,
Yeah.
like,
Hmm.
we came back from drawing the comics, and I was on fire, and just ideas just start popping and jumping in my head. And I'm a milestones baby, so um, it just took me right back into that space. I just went right back into how it felt opening those books, and the story just started telling itself, and I just started taking notes and jotting everything down.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, like, what your first attempt at, actually putting together your first story? Like, how was that like?
It was a mess. It was a glorious mess. It was fun, but it was messy because I'm out here in Arizona. I'm on an island. You know what I mean? And thank God for the Two Brandons podcast. um they had a podcast going, and they were just dropping game. And one day Joe Illich from Milestone hopped on there and was dropping game. And then I was still I was in Maryland for a while, and then I ended up going to E.P.I.C. So I had took all of that, and I sat into some rooms, and talked to the folks, and I took what I remembered. And it was expensive, it was labor intensive, but when you start seeing your words turn into pictures and the
Hmm.
pages and they come to life, it made it
It's
all
a
worth it.
different feeling, yeah.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
made it all worth it, dude. It made it
Oh
all worth
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's kind of the general theme when you're starting your first project. It's always like it's always a mess. Mine, oh my God, everything that could go wrong went wrong. You know what I'm saying?
it.
Everything that could go wrong went wrong. It literally took me a few years to put out my first issue from conception to print. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know what we're doing. I feel like there's more resources now
Oh yeah,
for
yeah.
for the independent creator to you know, I'm not gonna say like a rule book because everyone is gonna have a different experience, but kind of like a general guide of to do's and what not to do's and what
And,
to look
and,
out for.
and, and right, and then you gotta think about it. We didn't have any of the technology that back then that we had now. If
Oh
I
yeah.
could have sat on chat and was like, structure my company, how do I go about this?
Hmm.
Explain it to me like a 10-year-old. Are you serious? I would have been out of here. And then you got to think about it. We didn't have, I think Facebook was there, but you didn't have Twitter, you didn't have Snap, you didn't have IG, you didn't have fan base. YouTube really wasn't popping. You got to think about all the stuff that's
Yeah.
at your fingertips now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think
You
it's a
know what I
lot
mean?
easier now to be a creator than it was 15 years ago.
uh, 5 years ago. But the trick is not to get swallowed up in all the chaos that's going on. Like it's a lot of noise, and you really got to have a lot more focus because it's a lot easier. You got to have because it's stuff coming and going all every
Hmm.
day. You pop open your phone and something flying at you, something running across the screen. So you really got to have focus. But if you got the right team, if you got the right team, you could get busy. I mean,
Oh
the
yeah.
sky's the limit. The sky is the limit.
Oh,
So I'm excited.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, like I remember, you know, even back in the day when I was doing music, I my MySpace was like the only kind of place you could put your music up at. This is how long ago, and now like you've got platforms where you don't even need a record label no more. I feel like the indie space is the new mainstream, because now we don't need we don't need a record label. You don't really need to sell your projects to like Marvel or DC to get it out. We have the ability to do it all ourselves now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we're all connected now. You know what I mean? Like the entire planet.
yeah. And another thing I think is pretty dope is that when I was first getting into it, people thought I've had artists quit because a big name didn't want to work with them or didn't want. I've seen a guy who was phenomenal. I just saw him recently. It's good to see you back drawing, but he got rejected from a major publisher out here, and it broke his heart.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it's good to see that there's so many different avenues.
Yeah.
There's no one path to success with this now, and so the gatekeeping isn't as tight as it was back then.
Oh yeah. No.
Like
Absolutely. 100% agree. Agree. Now we could reach the same people that they can. Sure, they got the numbers, they got the followers, and we only got like a small percent of that, but with it grows, you know what I'm saying? It grows with popularity. You could have 10 followers today and wake up with 10,000 tomorrow, you
dude,
know?
it'll happen. I've went to bed, some video 30, 40, next morning 1,000, 15,
Yeah.
1,200, 300, 400 in 5 minutes. I'm getting bling, bling, bling.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just got to get out here and really talk to
That's
people.
it.
You got to get out and share your story and be genuine because people want that connection. You know what I mean? So I think being yourself is more valuable now in the creative space than it ever was.
Yeah. That I agree 100% on that.
You know what
Like
I mean?
I feel like we're you can no longer be fake.
No,
Like and it's
it's too
it's
much.
it's just easier to be your true self because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're putting our heart and soul into this. Why be something that you're not? you know?
and there's too many avenues for other folks to find out your truth.
Oh, absolutely.
There's too much
Absolutely.
stuff going. So if you are fake, and you know the internet got some of the best investigators in the world. So I mean,
Hmm.
you owe it, but you owe it to yourself to be yourself. It's easier to be you, you
Yeah,
know. So and and
exactly.
and, and if it shows up in your stories and people connect, it's easy. It's an easier transition all the way around.
No, absolutely. I agree 100%. So let's talk about your Kickstarter. I definitely want to dig into that. Epic number one. Like I said, you guys watching, I'm gonna show y'all a little picture once I cut all this up and make everything nice and fancy. It's the cover alone got me like, okay, I want to
Yeah,
read.
yeah,
I want to read
we
this. So
yeah
let's
we
talk about that.
um you know what's funny? I had 4 issues before, and the my partner I was working with at the time, we went to San Diego Comic Con. I want to say 2014 or 15. I can't remember what year it was. And we made a decent enough impression to walk out of there with distribution and invites to other panels, and then it just fell to the wayside. And then I had my son, and babies do what
Yeah,
they're gonna do. So
life happens.
I've been dadding for the whole I've been dadding for the whole time, but every so often I would get a spike in sales. I would get hit my account is $90, and then 250, then it's three, then it's 40. Even if it's random, I'm like, people are still looking, and every now and
Yeah.
then it would spike. I was like, I need to get back to this.
Hmm.
And once everything got stabilized, last year, actually around last May or March, I said, man, let me go at this again. Let me see. And I just looked at the scope of comics, and I realized how much I missed it. I was like, man, this used to be fun. I mean, I used to love these guys. And, you know what I'm saying? Going through all this stuff. So I just ended up, I went in, I said, all right, if I relaunch this, I got to punch it up a little bit. I got to bring it up to speed. And so I just started working. I did a slight redesign just to freshen him up, to make the characters more. So I'm excited to look at him, and I'm excited to write
Yeah.
about him. And then I just started sharing different parts of the universe. I've done live action adaptations of certain characters, certain things. So I just started working those things, and since I've been working in movies and working on a web series, I started writing scripts, and so I said, all right, okay, my brain is going. It's time. It's time to put
Yeah.
it together. So I slowly but surely just put it together and got with some artists. I went through about 4 or 5 artists before I landed on the people I was comfortable with, and then from there I just started pushing out content, just seeing people's appetite
Yeah.
for it, and yeah, I've been getting a decent response considering
That's what's up.
yeah, it's only been since May.
Yeah, that's great. That's definitely great. And you said you already had put out 4 issues and you just like kind of revamping and relaunching, right?
Yeah, yeah, but this time though, first it was only about Epic. I mean, and a few other, but this time, in the time that I had since I've been writing other things, so it's going to be a fully expanded universe. And so
Okay.
now you'll get some Epic, you'll get a bunch of other characters, and then from different levels, we'll have the superhero, then you have the street level, you have the more serious dramatic side. So it'll touch on a few things, so
Okay.
people would definitely get a full idea of what the whole universe will be like.
Nice, nice. So as far as Epic, how many how many more issues are you doing on that one?
Epic, I got 32 written, ready to go.
Oh,
There's
you've already written
32.
32 issues.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I write weekly, so I'm writing Epic, Shadow Strike, and Lotto's. Um, I'm revamping his trade paperback, and then I'm working on something completely different, um, called How You Destroy, which is going to be crazy. And then I got the TV show that I'm going to do, comic issue, series issue, like that, called Catch 'em, and I'm six episodes in and 6 issues in. So like I said, the pen is working. The pen is penning.
oh,
So
I could
from
tell.
there, it just from there it's just having time to get the stuff out and get it to people and make the adjustments based on whatever feedback that we're
Oh
receiving.
yeah, absolutely. So where did that original character come from? Like where did you come up with the idea for Epic?
Um, uh,
or
I've
even just
been
your whole universe in total?
just I have been writing my whole life. Like I mean, I wrote my first quote unquote song or rap when I was 6, 7.
Hmm.
But me and my best friend Fox, we used to draw little comic books, and so I had the idea, and it just grew from there. Like when I came, but when I went to drawing the comics and I was on fire, I sat down and I was like, "What's going to be like? What's going to make a difference?" I was looking at the scope of comics and where everything was at that time. I was like, "What can we do to fit in here?
Yeah.
What's dope?" And a lot of guys were doing the Egyptology twist, and I was like, "Man, this." I want to say it was. I wasn't a fan of their take on it,
Yeah.
so I was like, I like Stargate. I like the whole future part of it. So I said, let me see. I don't know nothing about Egypt, but I think this piece is cool. If we take this piece and pull this piece, I didn't want my guy, my character, to just be some. Yeah, he black, but you don't always gotta be from the ghetto. You don't always gotta be. So I said, let's
Yeah.
have a regular kid. Let's have a good student, a regular guy. Just landed in a situation that not only changes him but changes the world immediately. And
Nice.
what can you
I
do when
like
you're a
that.
decent, when you're a decent person and a good student, no real edge to you, you're just a regular middle of the road kid, and all of this power is in your lap.
Yeah. Okay.
Now what? So I just wanted it to be one of those things. So I wanted to write a dope superhero story that everybody could relate to
Hmm.
and that we could really rock with as a community. So that kind of was the goal.
Yeah, definitely. That's like I said, it from what I see looks dope, and from what I'm hearing, I'm definitely invested. I already hit that link to notify me once that Kickstarter goes live for sure.
Yeah, on the 18th, on the 18th,
Yeah.
bro.
You hear that,
Yeah,
right? The 18th. I'm gonna have the links and all that,
and two
on the stream.
Tuesdays. Yeah,
That's
real.
what's
Hey.
up. That's what's up. But now I want to touch on you as a creator. Like, what is your creative process? Like, when you're putting
I
together these stories, like where is your headspace at?
so my style, I found out because I didn't know what to call it. They call it a pantser. Like you just fly by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
You just kind of. I have a general idea of where I want to go and what I want to get, how I get there. And I've been taught and trained by directors to write a certain way, but I don't care. Like I feel good writing how I write, and then when I'm
Yeah.
done, I put it up against what I've learned, and so I make the adjustments. But when I'm just flowing, I'll just sit down
You're just
and it'll
letting it
just go.
go.
Yeah, I just let it go, and then when I feel like I've either written myself into a corner or I'm done, I'll go back into my checks and balances, and
Yeah.
save the cat and the whole deal. But yeah, I won't call it freestyling because I do have a general idea of where I want to go.
Yeah.
I just start hearing voices and I start seeing scenarios and it's just all in the air and it just kind of start falling in
Hmm.
my head the right way.
Yeah. I feel like I do the same thing. I got an idea, and if it hits me where I want to do something with it, I'll write. I'll write until I stop writing. And then once I'm done, I'll take a step back and reread it and, you know, make some adjustments. Because sometimes when I'm writing, I'm just writing some crazy shit. Like
Right.
I remember my first comic, Chaos Theory, that I put out. The the end result was so different from that first night where I sat there and I was just writing, and I still have that original file, and I'm just like, whoa, this would have never worked. Like,
Yeah. I had a
I'm like,
couple dude, I had a couple stories that I had to let go. They would have never saw the light of day. Just really when you're creating something in a new space, and by us having a music background, writing comes easy. Writing
yeah,
kind of pure from your heart kind of comes easy, and then when you start adding these scenarios, based on how creative you are, your brain will take you somewhere so wild. Like I had,
yeah.
yeah, I got some stuff I can't even use, and I keep it just as a reminder, like you really wrote this crazy thing, bro. You are crazy. This is not okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. Yep. That's like I would say, even when you read my first comic, the first panel. it shows him writing in a book, and that is a concept I completely threw out of the comic because I was like, that shit makes no sense. But I kept it there on purpose because to me, I felt like that's where it started from. That crazy, wild idea.
Right.
That of
Yeah.
course it went through like 10 edits, but that right there is my little Easter egg of where the whole concept came from. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, the process. Everybody's process is unique, but what I find with us guys and folks who used to do music and like we will write something crazy and we have to reel ourselves back in.
Now, when you were first putting everything together, like what was one of the biggest mistakes you made in the beginning when, as I mentioned,
I,
when you
I,
started
I,
to
I,
put the comic
yeah,
out?
I think thinking that everybody is a fan of what you're trying to do and thinking
Mhm.
that everybody is team you, like
Yeah.
it's a business. And when you're writing stuff with passion and it's art, so it's all in your feelings about it. I had to learn to separate business from what it is,
Mhm.
and I had a lot of artists run off with my money and turn crappy work in and
Mhm.
and then they're going through their thing, so they're blowing deadlines. It's a mess, and I still go through it today. And I'm like, it's crazy to see that a lot of these folks still ain't got their shit together. But when you're creating from that basement, you got to deal with the folks in the basement. You, you know
A
what I
hundred
mean? And I
percent
didn't know
agree.
it was different levels. I had to pull from what was around me until I got up to the different levels and start pulling talent from the different levels. But you'll find that I mean, it's sharks and piranhas in this
Oh,
water.
absolutely.
It
Oh
is it
man.
is sharks and piranhas in this water. And this go round, I don't. I, once I found my team or the people I wanted to deal with, I just locked
Mhm.
in with them. Not a whole lot of noise. I'm just showing results.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? And that's
Hmm.
kind of, you just got to be results oriented. Going back, you knew, so it's green and everything is
Yeah.
so, but
Oh yeah.
reality
Yeah.
smacks you real quick.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like that's a common theme when a lot of people are trying to put out their first project, and not just with comic books, with anything, whether it's you putting out an album or you working on making a game or a book or something. I feel like there's so many sharks out there that are just trying to eat and they're just
Yeah,
taking advantage. Like I lost a ton of money making my first comic because I paid an artist pretty much half of the whole book up front,
yeah,
and it took, I want to say, a year to get like 2 pages. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of the worst experiences ever. But now I know, you know what I mean? Like as time went by, I was able to, like you said, develop a team, work with those that I know that, what, he's about his business. We're on the same page. I'm gonna keep working with that artist. I'm gonna keep working with that
bro,
letterer and that colorist.
bro, listen to me. I could write a scary book, a horror story about the horror stories that I went through with artists, right? Like it blows my mind. It's such a visual medium, and you see these guys, and they're good and they're talented in their own right, and it's just like bait. Like they draw the dope Spider Mans and Hawks and Supermans and Batmans, and then when it comes to your character,
It don't look
some of
nothing
them, not
like
all
it.
of them, yeah, they shortchange you, but you gotta think about it. They've been drawing Superman since they've been 4 or 5. They've been drawing Hawk, and I had to get that out of my head. I used to take it personal, but I'm like, Epic is new to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lotto is new to their hand. These
Hmm.
guys have been drawing Spider-Man webs and Wolverine claws. They can do it with
They,
their eyes closed.
yeah,
But it's still a level of professionalism that you got to
exactly.
come in here with. And a
Exactly.
lot of people, when you first get in, they'll see you coming. You green, you eager,
Hmm.
and and you're right. It's like that with every form of business. But the good thing is, I had some resources, and I mentored myself through some podcasts and some knowledge, and I was like, okay, it's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
this way. You don't
Hmm.
pay it all, you pay in this.
Hmm.
So once I got that together, a lot of stuff separated itself.
Yeah. Hmm. For real. And not to knock a lot of, the artists or whatever, a lot of them are about their business, but unfortunately, you got those that they're good artists. I feel like some of them they just want to get paid and move on, get paid and move on, and they're not really. Some of them, I feel like they're not really trying to bring your vision to where it needs to be. They just were worried about that next, how much, sending for that next page or for that
Right.
cover or whatever, you
And
know.
it's probably, here's the funny thing, it's probably, and they can probably tell us some horror stories about writers that they've dealt with. But
Oh, absolutely.
I only know my side,
Hmm.
and I can give you 20. I spent a lot of money into this,
Hmm.
and I ain't rich. I'm a working
Yeah.
regular guy, and I spent a lot of money into this, and I had to learn a lot of lessons in blood
Oh yeah.
about
Hmm.
doing business in this space. But I do it all over again for the knowledge, so that the next person asking me don't have to go through it. Like, I don't mind. I always share what I know,
Yeah.
because Joel is shared with the whole everybody. Brandon East and Brandon Tom, they share their knowledge. So who
Hmm.
are you? You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
don't gatekeep no knowledge. If I find something out and it's cool and it's here, this is what I did. So
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I said, not to knock anybody, because I'm pretty sure, like, you've got artists that work with a writer or creator, and they could tell you, like you said, their horror stories from this,
yeah.
sometimes.
It happens on both sides.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And taken with that, a lot of the walls you've hit making your projects, was there any time where you felt where you wanted to just wipe your hands and just quit and just be like, you know what? This ain't for me. This is a headache. I don't think I want to deal with this mess.
The tough part about being a writer is, like, I'm a, when I say this all I know how to do, I'm not saying that to cheapen my what I'm bringing, but, like, I'm not an artist.
Yeah.
I had to teach myself the letter, but this is I have the idea, I have the marketing, I have the vision,
Hmm.
but I can only do this part. With comics, you have to have an assembly line, and they have to all be on point. And so, I've had some shortcomings that made me second guess, um, be, only because I'm like, man, if I could draw, I would eliminate 80% of my headaches.
Oh yeah.
If I could
Yes, sir.
color, the other 20 is out of the way. Because
Hmm.
colorists are a lot more, far more easy and more reasonable to deal with, but it just having to put your baby in somebody else's hands and hoping that they love it like you do,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
realizing they don't love your baby. They just want the check to come with holding your baby, and it's like, come on, bro, and that's fine. I'm okay with doing business, but then
Yeah.
do business, you know.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's the tough part from a writing standpoint or from a creative standpoint. If you don't like a lot of guys, I know some dope guys who write and draw, so that's half the battle,
Hmm.
But if all you can do is write, you're at the mercy
Of the artist.
of their integrity,
Yeah.
of their character and their integrity, because you doing what you saying you doing when you send the money. Now I need you to do what you say you're gonna do, and it don't happen like that all the time. It don't
Yeah.
happen like
No.
that all the time. And I stopped Epic at issue number 4. I was able to close the arc, but had my artist, the last artist, ran off my money, reconnected with him. It's been years. Something of bygones be bygone. Sent him another payment. He ran off. Hey, fool me twice, shame on me. But the thing is, I didn't let it discourage me because I knew what I had. I know
Mhm.
what I got, and the people respond every time they see it. So it'll be their loss when they see us, when
Exactly.
they see us getting busy and doing what we're supposed to do. So
Exactly.
I,
And now they're
you know,
gonna be
I
like, "Oh, can I get on? Can I, you know,
this
I'm sorry. I'll work on it for you."
I'm gonna tell you what they do because they're doing it now. They're marketing old pages of my work that they drew for me,
Yeah.
and they don't tell you that They
They
don't
ain't
do no
finished the
more.
damn job.
Right. They don't tell you that here's some work that I flaked on, or here's some work that I half-assed. They said, well, here is something we did for Dark City Comics. And half of me like, oh yeah, well, what happened to the project? You
Yeah.
know. But I'm just like, you know what? I got way
Hmm.
more cooler shit to do than to go back and forth. With a bad business. I let them. But it's funny to see somebody take uh bad work and try to pawn it off as a good result. That's
Yeah,
funny.
like you could have the greatest pen. You could draw the dopest panels, make the flyest cover. You could be great, but if your work ethic ain't there, you might as well not be doing nothing.
Yeah, and this is where AI is coming in and really pissing the community off. But the God's honest truth is it's separating the hustlers from the bullshitters, because you see a lot of in these groups, a lot of people. If you post AI work, you're a jerk, you're
Oh,
stealing, you robbing.
they're gonna they're gonna lose
But
their shit.
the God's honest truth is, if you solid and you do good work, you'll always have work,
Yeah,
because it's pros out here now that still do good work, and AI has been AI for years.
yeah,
But you see a lazy person's excuse. They'll do the blame game with somebody who, because now you can't cheat me no more,
yeah.
because now I don't have to wait for you for a concept or a sketch, so you don't get to cheat me. You don't get to cheat
Exactly.
these guys, and so now you can get further along in your process before you actually need an artist. And so that's really separating the hustlers from the
Right.
BSs. From
Yeah. Like even if you use it to kind of like storyboard your ideas to present to an
mm-hmm.
artist, like this is what I came up with, you know what I'm saying? And this is kind of the direction I'm headed in. I would like you to match, not match, but do something like this, clearly with your style.
Dude, I used to get milked from sketch concept to finished product.
Yeah.
I'm talking. They used to run me because I'm green and I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's a tool used to lighten the load and speed up the process.
Hmm.
And I think what it's creating, same way the MPC created new producers.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Same way and people laugh at autotune. The same way autotune did what it did. You have to understand when something's coming. It's either get down or lay down, and then you have to figure out a
Exactly.
way to make it work with who you are as a person and your brand. And there's a space for it, because whether you want to make a space for it or not, it's already too late. It's here.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I'm seeing a lot of non-artists take their ideas there first,
Hmm.
because of what they've experienced on the other side.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to watch. I have traditional artists, but I do like to put my characters in the flow in Gemini that make a move and talk. I
Yeah.
think that's dope. Who would want to
Yeah.
do that? That's pretty
Exactly.
cool. So,
Exactly. Especially it's
and
it's it's cost effective because if you try to go and hire somebody to do that, they're gonna charge you an
bro,
arm and a leg.
it
And
wouldn't even be on my mind, because it's not fiscally available to me. It's not on my
exactly.
mind to make epic hands light up and the cannon forming. I don't know nobody that can do that on my right now. So it's
Yeah.
cool to play with. And
Yep.
then when the time comes, I'm gonna sit down with a real animated team.
And
You know
make it
what I
work.
mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, but right now I'm working. It's like I'm working out.
Yeah.
It's like a comic. I'm doing all these hole in the wall spots, these underground spots, and then when it's time to jump on the main stage, I'm gonna be ready. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So a lot of it is and I feel both sides of the argument, but
Hmm.
I think that a hustler's gonna hustle, and
Yeah.
if you got
Exactly.
it in you, you're gonna make the best out of the situation, and it's in everything. They got
Yeah.
people, you got artists using AI to write.
Yeah. Exactly. Because you got some great artists, but they can't write for shit, and that's all right. So they'll take the idea and then
bro.
It works both ways, like,
This thing, yeah, this thing is making whole scripts. It's writing whole TV shows. It's writing calendars. It's doing
everything.
everything,
It's doing everything.
but but it can't be you. So as
Yeah.
long as you're you, and long as you're bringing who you are to the tool, you'll be fine. But I
Yeah,
definitely,
you can't be the tool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I definitely get both sides of the
Mhm.
argument. But what it's done is definitely helped the small guy get further along before he needs that help.
Exactly. Exactly. And as you mentioned earlier, starting off, we're all green. We are none of us really know what we're doing. And Google only gonna tell us but so much. And I feel like now with like ChatGPT and things like that, it'll kind of give us a better pathway into what we need to do.
Bro, you can go into chat or Manus or any one of these things, and you can literally say, "Hey, chat, I want to start a comic book company. I want it similar to this, this, and this. I have no idea how to get it started. I need step one. Explain it to me like a 10-year-old."
Yeah.
And it'll go.
Vroom. Give you step by step everything you need to
And
know.
this is knowledge that you couldn't get. And you'll go to one of these comic groups and be like, hey, y'all, I just got into comics and I'm looking to launch my comic book. What do I need to do? And you'll get a
Yeah.
whole bunch of snarky comments, a little sarcasm, bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Or you can go, and not everybody can go to a convention and sit in a workshop.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because these cons cost. Not everybody can do that. But you can take an app on your phone and build out what you think, and then you make your adjustments from there. But now you have a guideline or a
Mhm.
template where you would have had nothing.
Exactly.
I couldn't have.
Exactly. And
If I had
it's
this 10
saving
years
you a ton
ago,
of time. Yeah. If I would have had this 10 years ago
bro,
when I started, I would have
nuts,
saved
bro.
a lot of time and money. And
It'd have
not
been
as
nut. It would have been nuts, bro. Because
exactly.
I would have had a checks and balances, and I would have been able to see not all of them. Some of the things was going to happen, but I
Yeah,
would have been able to see some of the pitfalls and maybe save myself some of the heartache because
exactly.
such and such, this ain't how it's supposed to go. But the new guys got it, so hopefully they take advantage of it, use it as a tool, and don't use it as a crutch because
Exactly. Those are two
it's a
different
definite,
things.
two
Two
totally
different
different.
things. Two like me, I believe in using it as a tool to help you,
Right,
not for it to be your end all be all. Because as a creator, that's not. I don't believe
but
AI should be the
yeah,
end all be all.
yeah,
But to help you, to help you where you need to go,
yeah,
absolutely. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's what it's
you,
for.
yeah. I mean, but here's the thing: people take advantage of all processes.
Oh,
So you just
absolutely.
gotta, I'm just saying, you gotta stay true to yourself. I'm not knocking what nobody is using to finish their book because I
Mhm.
know what it takes to finish a book, and I know the stress related to it. I know the frustration. I know the heartache. I don't wish that on nobody. But like I was crushed when I thought I had somebody, and I was hurt. I ain't even gonna
Yeah.
lie. I was like, "What are you doing? Like we're here." And then I had it happen again. I'm like, I think I was like, maybe it's me. Like maybe it's me, bro. Like I didn't know, but it ain't me, bro. It's just, because I'm always trying to push forward. I'm always trying to bring the team. I don't mind leading. I don't mind following. I don't mind listening. I'm easy. I'm eager to learn, and I'm easy to teach. And I try to be fairly even keeled,
Mhm.
but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm just grateful to be in the space now and to be able to create now, to still
Yeah.
get great responses now, still be able to reach out. Like I had a quick little thing with Joe this morning, and he's just awesome, bro. Like Joe Illich is
Yeah.
amazing, bro. Like
Mhm.
he is like the comic book Yoda, bro. Like that. I mean, if if you see him talking, you listen.
No, absolutely. Hold on. Looks like we froze a bit. Oh, there we go. Looks like we froze a
Okay,
bit. But yeah, I
my bad.
got you good
Yeah,
now.
yeah, but
But
yeah, man, I mean, it's some dope guys out here, wealth of knowledge
mhm,
that you can definitely
mhm. Yeah,
learn from.
and that's the point of me kind of trying to put this podcast together. It's not just, another. hey, let's show indie comic books. I kind of want to showcase the creator, show us what you got going on, what's cooking. But I want this to kind of be a dig in the mind of a creator. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
watch the
right.
processes. Because it's none of this is easy. You know what I'm
No,
saying? And
no,
you're
no
gonna
point
have
of it.
a lot of people like we did looking for looking for looking for some answers for questions that they may have. And I don't expect every question to be answered with these videos, but kind of hearing everyone's experiences, they're like, all right, I kind of got a general idea
Right.
of what I should expect going into this. And that's anything create any project, whether like I said, comic books, games, music, it's all this entertainment is entertainment. Entertainment is insane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Everyone's always out for number one. But as far as marketing, I know you got the Kickstarter coming out. Um, is the Kickstarter your number one way to market your products, or do you also like do the direct to consumer, like buy it off my
Dude,
website or something like that? Like, where do you
this
find easiest?
this is my first Kickstarter.
Okay,
I have paid bills off of selling comics direct to consumer. I knew
okay,
nothing about. I wasn't familiar with it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But marketing wise, I just use all of my platforms and I talk to
yeah,
people. I just get out and what's up? It's your boy Low. If I read a book, I talk about the book. I know people like the images from Epic and all the characters, so I try to. Monday I do something, Wednesday I do something, Tuesday I do something, But I just want to engage with my people. But at the end of the
yeah,
day, I can't tell you nothing. I'd rather show you. I'd rather you see me,
a hundred
see the
percent.
work. You know what I mean, and understand that I love this and what I'm putting into this, so that I can enjoy it and you can enjoy it, and then I'm willing to hear your feedback to help make this whole thing better.
Yeah,
So marketing is always a two-way street. It's always, but I watch a lot of guys who do marketing, other things, and I
hmm
just try to see how I can make it work. And I watch guys who do great marketing, Impound, Concrete. They do great marketing. Dude in the Ripperverse, they do great marketing. Godhood, they do great marketing, bro. They do good marketing.
hmm
And then it's a bunch of other guys, Luminous, a bunch of companies out there who kill it, bro.
yeah,
So for me, I'm watching all the time. I'm like, oh, that works for them. I don't know if it'll work for me, but if I do this, it may work.
hmm
And
yeah,
but
yeah. You know, you could take their foundation and tweak it to what works for you, because not everybody's success story is gonna work for you. You know
no,
what I'm
no, not,
saying?
no. Everybody's
You
process
know?
is different, but I just think it's great to see all the different ways folks are going about getting people to tell a story about their book. Like it's dope to see. You would see somebody do something you wouldn't even be thinking about.
Yeah.
Like Impound, they go to the cons and they'll do who you think will win, Superman or this person. This whole time he got a whole line, but it ain't even about him. But it's about that dope experience he's having with his client. Not even the client, just a regular person who may turn into a supporter once they realize who he is.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
you may have a creator that is a teacher, a teaching base, and it's always giving you game, and that may
Yeah.
work. Everybody has a way.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. And what I'm saying, like, before we wrap things up, and as I mentioned, this space is gonna be for the indie creators, whether you're experienced or you're real green. What advice would you have for someone just starting out, whether they want to put a project together and don't know anything, don't know where to start. They got the idea and they just, all right, what
I,
what what do I do first?
I would say make sure you love it. Like make sure you love it, but like make
Yeah,
sure because it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna be
very.
fun, but you're gonna go through every emotional spectrum possible creating. But and the only way to get through it is to love it, bro. Like I
Yeah,
love what I'm doing.
yeah,
So I'll take my bumps and bruises. I'll take these lumps, but you gotta love it. You have to be honest about your budget. You
Yep.
have to know what you can afford. You have to understand that the comics is the last part. I gotta People gotta want to know, you know, what is Marvel without Stan Lee?
Exactly.
The OG is he's all through it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I want to know you. I want to know your story. Yes, I like Spider Man, but it was dope knowing that he was going to be doing a little quick scene somewhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you gotta love it. You gotta be involved in it. You know, you have to really, you have to have a budget. You have to have a plan,
Yeah.
and from there, you gotta build a solid team because you cannot do it alone. I'm telling you from experience, and tons and tens of thousands of dollars of money blown. You cannot do it alone. You know what I mean? Have a
Yeah.
plan, stick to the plan, have a budget, regardless of what the budget is.
Hmm.
Have one in your mind and be honest with your budget. Be honest,
Yeah.
like, look, I only got this. And so from
This
there,
is
have,
expensive.
yeah, and have some relatable characters. Tell a story that people can resonate with. You know, even if you have an outlandish concept, have some human have some human moments
Yeah.
that people can connect with your and you should be fine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like you mentioned, this is fun. I love doing it. It is a massive headache. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It is a headache, but it is a the end result
yeah.
sometimes outweigh all the negativity. It's
Oh,
expensive. It's highly expensive, but if you stay true to yourself, as we mentioned a few times, you should be good.
yeah,
If you if this is what you want to do, and you put that, because you're not gonna make one comic book and everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, let's make a movie. Marvel wants it. This is gonna take years,
yeah. And then here's the
years.
thing: lightning may strike for you. You may get lucky and it
Oh
may
yeah,
happen, but it's very few and far in between. But the
very
grind
few.
is what makes it all worth it. Like getting out, like like going into Comic Con and having people come up to you because of what your book did to them, or they asking you questions about characters you made up in your head, and they got their own little reasons why. I'm like, wow, like we have fans. Like I don't have fans. Epic had fans, and so it's like, oh wow, and I got people in my inbox, bro, this dope. Tell me he can do this, or she can do that, or why is he doing this? So it's cool to have people invested in what you're doing. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? And it feel good, make it all worth it. To have somebody coming up to you, excited, holding your books and wanting the signature and wanting the picture. It's something that was living in your head and in your heart. I think that's dope. It makes
Yeah, no,
everything.
absolutely. Absolutely, man. And once again, I want to thank you for coming on,
Hey, I
and even
appreciate it, man.
participating in this. Like I said, I came up with this idea last week, and I'm just like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Who knows? Like, I don't even care if, I mean, I would love, realistically, to get a lot of viewers, but just being able to talk to another creative mind for 30 minutes to an hour, to me is worth it in itself. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, I appreciate it.
getting to know that I'm not my experience. We all go through different shit, but there's a lot of it is really similar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the process. Yeah, the bumps and bruises look real similar, but I think what you're doing is dope. And I think that just having a platform for creators to come and talk, and you'll never know who's gonna see it, bro. You never
Yeah,
know who's gonna see it. Get it out, post it, chop it up, talk about it, share it. You never know who's gonna be sitting on the airplane and it come across
yeah,
their screen, who's gonna be at a game or who's gonna just it could and it can help somebody. We might
yeah.
be helping
Exactly. And
so
that's what I would like to do. Learn from it if you're just starting out, or you've already been in the game for a while, because everyone got different stories. But at the very least, you were able to get listen to a great conversation between two people or four people, whoever's on here, just
right.
their experiences, their projects, and what we got going on, and what's next, because that's always the big thing. Like, all right, this is done, and what's next? But once again, man, like I said, thanks for coming aboard. You know what I'm saying? Dark City
Appreciate you
Comics
having
all
me.
day. And like I said, and I'm gonna have the all the information on the screen and on in the comments and all that. Check out the artwork is fire. I'm good. Yo, the
Appreciate
artwork is
Appreciate
really dope. I can't wait
Appreciate
to dig in and actually, have it in my hands and read it. But yo, once again, I salute you, my guy. Thank you for coming on board.
Man.
And
Appreciate you having me.
yeah, definitely. And once I have everything up and uploaded, I'll send you some links and we'll take it from there.
Okay, bet. Appreciate it, brother. Enjoy your evening, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you too. Good looking.